Aloha and welcome to the Embodied Healing Self podcast with your host, Jen Mons. Each week, join me for soul-inspired, conscious conversations around embodied healing and awakening to your soul's purpose. Thank you for listening in. The content of this podcast is to educate, inspire, and inform you of pathways to an embodied healing self. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice from your medical doctor, therapist, registered dietitian, or nutritionist for any questions you may have regarding your diagnosis or condition. Aloha, friends, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Embodied Healing Self. We are coming to the end of another year and another decade, which can bring up so many things for all of us. It can be exciting, it can be full, it can be overwhelming. And so I invite you to listen to last week's episode, the 12 Days of Presence, if you're feeling a little out of the flow or misaligned this holiday season. So we've been talking a lot about the many pathways to the embodied healing self all year. And today I'm going to share one of my favorite topics as a really great way to embrace the end of another year, another decade, for some of us a chapter in our lives, and welcome some excitement and peace and joy and happiness and abundance, or whatever your word is for 2020, into your life by sharing my pathways to embodied healing and empowered living. So these pathways are part of a 12-level program that I work through in my mentorship program. And it's a compilation of all of the experiences and the training that I've been wholeheartedly committed to for my entire life, but even more so in the in-depth training that I've done over the past 10 years around healing the physical body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, the energy body, the esoteric body, and all of the parts of who we are as a whole person. So why do we want to access embodied healing and empowered living? What does that look like for you? What does it mean for you? Embodied healing is all about accessing the healer within you, accessing your body wisdom, your heart wisdom, your connection to source and grace, your intuition, your higher self, your divine self, God within you, so that you can have the awareness to proactively live your life in balance, alignment, wellness, peace, joy, abundance, connection, intimacy, all of the things that most of us would like to have more of or come back to in our lives. Empowered living is living in the flow of the expansion and contraction, and knowing when it is time to lean into the personal growth edge, and knowing when it's time to be in a place of just being and integrating. So we create this space. That's the first step on the path, is to create sacred space through energy management. So creating sacred space through energy management is about living with intention. It's about being present and living in alignment with what matters most to you. It's about seeking support when you need it, asking yourself if the choices you are making are in alignment with your values. If your choices, the decisions that you make to do something in your life, does it have to be done right now? Is it in alignment with me? Do I have to do it, or is there someone who can support me? And being very intentional with your energy. So going beyond the time management, you can look back over the podcast episodes where we talk about energy management and how it's time to be intentional with the people that we give our love and attention to, the way that we do it, the way that we show up in our relationships with people, with nourishment, with our health, with food, with our finances. What is your relationship with all the areas of your life? What are the words that you're using? If you find yourself using the words I should or I have to, I would invite you to consider that maybe there's another way. And to do a brain dump. Take notice if you're spending your time and your energy with the things that matter most. Asking yourself the question, at the end of your life, if you were to look back on this moment, how would you feel? The second step to embodied healing and empowered living is to clear energy blocks. And this is where it's super helpful to have an intuitive like myself or someone else or a healer that does Reiki, if they're able to coach you through it, to help you to clear energy blocks. But more importantly, to heal the heart space and to transform those limiting beliefs and fears, to transmute that energy into your gift. If you remember one of the episodes we recorded in the spring with Lloyd Burnett on transforming fears and limiting beliefs, it was a super powerful episode. He's so wonderful. I'll be seeing him in San Diego in January at the Healer's Code with Carrie Nola. And then recently I recorded with the co-founder of the Core Experience, who that episode will go live at the beginning of the year, with Britta Eske, who's been one of my most amazing mentors through my spiritual development and life coaching and leadership development around healing the heart and how our deepest wounds can become our greatest gifts. Because when we clear this energy, we create space to expand into something new. When we heal, this is the work I love. The next step is to embody self-love through energy alignment. So this is not the acts of committing to acts of self-love. I was in a coaching session the other day where we were acknowledging a client for her acts of self-love, massage and eating healthy, getting her nails done. But self-love and self-care is about the being, not the doing. It's in those moments. How we show up and how we respond in the moments to our day-to-day life. The acts of self-love and doing the things are easier than the awareness and the intention in the moment, because that's a practice. That's a practice of being in the moment. So I invite you to consider that acts of self-care and self-love are a way of being and not doing. And creating maybe a way for you to anchor in that awareness of those intentional moments where you embody self-love and to acknowledge yourself and celebrate them. The fourth step on the pathway to embodied healing and empowered living is moving up into that solar plexus chakra, intuitive energy nourishment. So really understanding in a solid way how food is energy and how it affects your physical body. it has the power to heal medicinally, and really understanding and tapping into that body wisdom. For many years, I did anti-inflammatory detox programs. And the foundation of those programs was always about intuitive eating. It was never calorie counting. It was never starving, no depriving. I don't believe in any of that. I think it's really important to have a healthy relationship with food. And our relationship with food and our relationship with our body is often a belief and a way that we show up in the rest of our life. So when we're in survival mode, we eat like we're in survival mode. If we're thriving, we eat like we're thriving. But most of us don't know what it's like to feel good until we do. And so perhaps participating in some type of detox program, whether it's through herbal supplements or anti-inflammatory eating, and allowing your body to cleanse, to create space physically for healing, for less inflammation, and to develop that relationship with intuitive eating and nourishment might be something that you consider for 2020. However, I don't recommend doing something like that in the winter season. I know everybody wants to do it at the beginning of the year, but Ayurvedically, energetically, constitutionally, when you think of animals in nature, they're hibernating, they're resting, they're rejuvenating, and that's what we should be doing as well. The fifth step towards embodied healing and empowered living is to heal body awareness through body wisdom. So building on just a little bit more that intuitive eating piece, it's also learning about the right movement for your body. So I've been a fitness instructor, I've been a dance fitness instructor, I've been through many training certification programs, I'm a yoga teacher, and there's such a wonderful gift in allowing your body to speak to you. Now, my favorite practice is through the practice of yoga, where yoga is really about creating that relationship, that healthy relationship with your physical body, really leaning in and listening to what does it need at this time. Many people choose to work out really hard and to overwork out in an unhealthy way rather than to have a balance of eating healthy and movement. And yes, anything in excess, including running or working out, can be unhealthy. And again, this depends on your physical health and your Ayurvedic constitution. Do you have a resting metabolic rate? What is your energetic constitution? Are you a Vata Pitta? Are you a Kapha? And we're going to get into that as one of the steps to really understanding the energy body, but knowing when it's time to rest and allowing yourself to flow in your routine based on the seasons, based on your season of life, and based on your seasonal changes outside. In my own season of life, I have taught boot camp and dance in bliss yoga and meditation. And just being in the natural flow of where you are. Number 6, next step on the pathway to embodied healing and empowered living is purposeful connection to joy. Purposeful connection to joy. So an interesting share on this one for me, I became aware about a year and a half ago that I love adventure. Well, I didn't become aware of that then. I knew that. I love living an adventurous life. I've been to 35 countries. I've traveled around the world. I love to surf, windsurf, snowboard, anything that's exciting for me. And I became aware about a year and a half ago that there was a slightly unhealthy relationship with that, and that it was a really easy way for me to, again, come to the acts of doing to find joy. So just like we talked about, self-love is not an act of doing, but an act of being. Purposeful and intentional connection to joy is in the moment. Finding the joy in the day-to-day moments, the joy in the chaos, the joy in the challenges in life. For example, yesterday, 30 minutes of my morning was spent comforting my 10-year-old who had her favorite dragon stuffy that had her wings bitten off by my angel puppy. This is the first time she's ever chewed a toy that wasn't hers. My daughter was so upset. This particular stuffy dragon is the hardest one to find anywhere. And I don't think it's going to happen before Christmas. And it was so overwhelming and hard for me as a mother to see her so upset with my puppy. And I had a meeting with a friend, and I kind of texted her, and I just said, I can't meet this morning. Some unexpected stuff came up. Something was happening with my older daughter's algebra class. And she so sweetly gave me the perfect response. One day you will look back and smile. I miss those days. And I just began to laugh at how silly it was that my whole morning was thrown off because my sweet puppy had chewed up my daughter's favorite stuffy. So it's finding the joy in those moments, finding the joy in all of the moments, and just being more intentional about finding that and living that in life. It opens the heart, makes us feel more lighthearted. And many of us are seeking that. Many of us want to come back to that remembering of that childhood joy and laughter. The 7th step on the pathway is to embrace authenticity through soul mapping. So in our group program, our immersion program, and our collective, we do a whole webinar on soul mapping, and it's so fun. It's so fun to bring in astrology to understand who we are. You can do this through human design, soul contract, gene keys. If you look back through my episodes, you can see the one with Nicholas David Nahn, who wrote the book, Your Soul Contract Decoded. I have a human design episode with Patsy McLean. And it's really allows you to have a deeper understanding of the ways that you show up in your life based on your astrology, your birth, your name, because everything has an energy and a vibration. So your name, your birth date, where you were born, and also your energy gates and openings through the chakra system. The next step on the pathway is to understand your energy body. So you heard me mention this a little bit when we talked about intuitive eating and mindful movement and healing body awareness. So really understanding the science of Ayurveda. I love Ayurveda. I've taught many Ayurveda workshops to yoga teachers when they were in their yoga teacher training. I love the principles of Ayurveda and understanding your energy body. Over the years, as I was health coaching early on in my coaching career, one of the practices that I taught with intuitive eating was understanding their Ayurvedic constitution. Because this helps us to understand why one diet doesn't work for everybody. We have a different energetic constitution, a different personality. And if you're a parent, you know, or even if you have pets or children, you know that when your children come into the world, or if you have more than one pet, they just are who they are. We have a certain energetic DNA and imprint in our body, and it affects our senses. It affects our taste. It affects our metabolism. And so understanding your Ayurvedic constitution and your energy body, your chakras, which chakras need to be cleared, which gates are open, is super powerful because we are not just physical beings. We have an energy body and everything has a vibration. And if we want to live in alignment with our highest vibration, then we really want to understand and nourish our energy body. The next step on the path is to create sacred rituals for energy alignment. So this is really, for me, a non-negotiable. As I have stepped into mentoring and teaching other life coaches, I'm about to complete my certification to become a life coach trainer. spiritual life coach trainer for the Atmana Academy, the Intuitive Life Coaching Academy. More to come on that in 2020 with Heather Alice Shea, one of my soul sisters. Creating a sacred ritual can look any way that you want it to. It could be the simple lighting of a candle. Journaling is a wonderful sacred ritual. If you're looking for support for journaling prompts, come on over to our Facebook group. Consider joining our circle for support. Prayer, meditation, yoga, movement, walking your dog, spending time in nature. But finding a way to integrate your sacred ritual, to make that commitment to stillness and reflection daily through centering prayer or the examine prayer or some type of silent, guided, or active meditation. But finding some type of sacred ritual or commitment. The 10th step on the pathway is energy alchemy, manifesting your dream life, spending time feeling what it's like to be in your truth, your clarity, your soul's purpose. By now, you're ready. If you've done the healing, if you've cleared the energy blocks, if you're in a practice of being present by embodying self-love and living in alignment, if you're connected with your intuitive nourishment, your body wisdom, intentional, purposeful, open-hearted connection to joy, your authenticity, your soul's purpose, your energy body, and you're committed to self-devotion through your sacred ritual, you have the perfect equation for energy alchemy. Manifesting your dream life, the becoming, the opening to, the coming home to who you were born to be. And this is all we are here to do. There's a part of you, in you, who knows this truth. Maybe you forgot. Maybe you have been wrapped up in the overwhelm or busyness of life. Maybe you've had some major contractions and challenges. Maybe you've experienced grief or loss in some way, financially, divorce, a loved one, health. But being open to trusting. Once you have the clarity to know what you're here to do and where you're going, and you listen to that voice, that inner wisdom, and you have guidance and support when you need it, you are ready to take that step, to allow yourself to receive what it is that you're here to do. That takes us into our 11th step on the pathway to embodied healing and empowered living, which is to live in the abundant flow of life. So my word for 2019 was abundance. And I welcomed it in every way. In every way. In health, in love, in finances, in connections, in energy, in growth, and maybe in challenges too, in some way. On the growth edge is particularly being a parent of a teenager, I would say. But it's been such an amazing year just to live in the flow of abundance, because abundance is a state of mind. Abundance is knowing that you have everything you need and allowing yourself to receive. It's all about that sacral chakra, opening up to receive, that divine portal to grace. That's what the sacral chakra is, the area of the womb. It is a divine portal between dimensions. It is our connection to grace. And so allowing ourselves to receive is a huge part of living in the flow of abundance. I had a meeting with another friend the other day who shared with me that her word for 2019 was expansion, and her income was quite lower than it had been, but she had expanded in personal growth with the writing of a new book. And I shared with her to reassure her that her expansion was in the energetic space, the growth that she did that will welcome an abundance in all ways for 2020. So thinking about abundance in the different areas of our life and what that looks like for you, I invite you to take some time to consider, what is your relationship with abundance over scarcity, receiving, allowing. And then lastly, my friends, the ascension to the embodied healing self and empowered living is by embodying our soul signature. Our soul signature is the energy frequency that we were born with when we came into this earth. What we came here to do. Now I know I am a soul that doesn't come to choose here very often. I'm a very old soul. And when I do, I come with purpose and intention. And so many of you may resonate with that. And maybe some of you don't. And there is no right or wrong. It's all about just embodying who you were born to be, because nobody else can do that. And with all of the tools that I've listed that allow you the gateways to accessing your soul's wisdom is through the embodied healing self and empowered living. So I hope that I've opened your eyes to something new. I hope that I've opened your eyes to the possibility of 2020, envisioning what is possible. If you would like more support around this, I invite you to join our free webinar, Envision 2020, on January 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This will be in our Facebook group, the Holistic Healthy Lifestyle Facebook group. You can find more on my website, jenmons.com/tribe. Come on over and join the intention setting Envision 2020. And if you're looking for a deeper connection and support for 2020, I have two options. The Embodied Healing Immersion course, which is a 3-month program where we go through the first 6 gateways to embodied healing. We take you through the first 4 chakras: root, sacral, solar plexus, and heart. Healing from the root chakra up, the physical body, the heart, with joy, clearing energy blocks, intuitive nourishment, healing body awareness, and creating sacred space. We have a 3-month immersion program. You can check that out at jenmons.com/energy alignment program, or check out the link in the show notes. And then finally, we have our 12-month Embodied Healing Empowered Living Collective for 12 women only. We have 8 spots left for 2020, where we go through these 12 gateways through the whole year. We're going to have a retreat in Costa Rica in August. We're going to have a live event here in Atlantic Beach, Florida in the spring. We'll have bi-weekly calls monthly private coaching calls. So this is for the person who is ready to go all in and transform their life. And I'm going to be honest and super transparent, as I always am. Your life will shift in major ways. You might completely change your job, your partner, your relationship with yourself, your health, all in positive ways. So if you're ready to come home and embody your soul signature, I invite you to apply for a position in the circle, the collective, to really dive in and do the deep healing. Really, really deep healing. In so many ways, I have some super special stuff planned for our retreat in Costa Rica. I'm really excited about it. So thank you so much for joining me. I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful holiday season as we come to the season of Christmas or whatever it is that you celebrate. I celebrate Christmas. And just invite you to be present and just enjoy every moment. Happy holidays with love, gratitude, and aloha from my family to yours. Have a wonderful day. Hello, friends, and thank you so much for joining me today and being a part of this community. I know there are many other podcasts that you could be tuning into, and I am deeply honored that you chose to listen in and be present with me today. I love and cherish and appreciate you, and I want to invite you to join our tribe and Facebook group under jenmons.com/connect. I would also love to gift you your guide to discovering and overcoming the self-limiting beliefs standing in the way of you living in optimal health, more energy, fulfillment, and self-confidence to create an embodied, healthy, whole you. You can find this at jenmons.com/tribe. I also have one small request to help spread the love. In order for this podcast to show up in the feed of social media platforms of other like-minded people, we need reviews. So please head on over to jenmons.com/podcast to leave a review. You will also find other inspiring episodes on that page. So I personally read these reviews weekly and would love to give you a shout out and share your kind words with our listeners. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook as Jen Mons or The Holistic Coach with the W Holistic and Jen Mons, JenMons.com. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. Aloha.